So let's lie down on our mats. If you have a big ponytail, just move it out of the way because we'll be here for a little bit. Lie right flat on your back with your knees bent. This will be our starting position. Place your hands on your belly, and you can make a little triangular, it kind of looks like a garlic bulb shape between your hands. And place that right over top of your belly button. So your pointer fingers are pointing right down towards your private parts, and your thumbs are pointing towards your belly button. Good. And now can you close your eyes, and we'll start with some really simple breath-aligned pelvic tilts. So take a deep breath in, don't do any movement quite yet, and just exhale out all of your air. Take one more breath in, just like that, and exhale. Good, and this time when you inhale, can you push your lower back into your mat just a little bit and draw your pubic bone towards your pointer fingers. So you feel like your core engages a little bit. And as you exhale, arc your back away from the floor and push your belly button towards your thumbs. Right? So you're doing a pelvic tilt. It's a really slow and small movement. And really what it is pubic bone lifts up, pubic bone lifts down. And as that happens, pubic bone lifts up, tailbone drives down, back imprints into the floor. And the opposite action takes your spine away from the floor. We'll do this for about a minute. I'm trying to simply feel the difference when you're in an anterior tilt. So an anterior tilt is when your pubic bone is pointing down and your back is lifted away from the floor. Or a posterior tilt, which is when your back gets pushed into the floor and your pubic bone lifts up. Feel all of those little murky sensations here. Good. Do one or two more. Ultimately finding what feels like neutral. So the place in between those two extremes. Depending on your natural curvature of your spine, that might mean your spine is arced away from the floor or imprinted on it. And now with your thumbs still resting on your belly button, can you just engage your stomach, like really engage your core? And then relax. Engage your core again. And relax. Try that one more time. You're just feeling what it feels like to get really strong and tight through your belly. Find your neutral spine. Lift up both legs and set your knees right above your hips. So if you have your video on, you'll notice if your knees are coming close to your face. Let's try to get them right above your hips. And place your hands down alongside your body. Notice what's happened to your back. You might need to force a little imprint here. And your spine is strong, but your core is the strongest. It's really, really engaged. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, could you just tap your left heel down really slow? On the inhale, lift it back up. Do that again, same leg 5 times. You're just tapping and then bringing it back to center. And what your core, especially if it's a little bit weak, will try to do to cheat out of this work, it's going to get you to come in faster and closer. So this, going really quick, is a lot easier than going really slow and keeping those knees at that 90-degree angle right above your hips. Once you've done 5 on one side, nice and slow, transition over to the other side. Make sure you're breathing. And in these Pilates movements, you might even opt to exhale out through your mouth. That can help cool you down when it gets a little bit hard. Good. And once you've done 5 on the other side, come back to neutral and pause. Take a deep breath in. You can hug your knees into your chest and just rock as you exhale from side to side. Let's keep adding on. So we'll play in this position for quite some time. Bring your knees back above your hips, hands down on the floor. This time alternating. So drop your right heel down, lift your right heel up, drop your left heel down, and lift your left heel up. Notice how much your lower back wants to inch away from the floor. And then engage your core, just like you did when you had your belly or your thumbs on your belly button. Engage your core so that your lower back is neutral. Maybe a tiny imprint of the spine into the floor here is okay. You're just alternating side to side, building slow and steady strength here. Let's keep moving for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, bring your knees up. Take your hands on either knee. So right hand comes onto your right knee, left hand onto your left knee, and make circles with your knees. And they could go, let's actually do that 3 times in each direction. So to the right and then to the left. Just massaging out your hip joints here before we add on again. Can you bring your kneecaps back up above your hips, push your thighs forward, maybe just for fun, take your hands onto your thighs, take your palms onto your thighs and push your thighs away and then draw your thighs towards your hands. Make sure you're breathing here. This is forced abdominal engagement, you'll feel. Now take both hands and reach both hands up towards the sky. Palms are facing one another here. Keep the legs as they are. Imprint your lower back into the floor. So you're pushing your lower back into the floor here. Listen carefully, because this is a bit weird. It's not a big movement. Can you just lift your shoulders off the floor? So it's like you're trying to touch your ceiling and then push your shoulders back down. This is called elevation. You're lifting your shoulders away from the floor and then depression, push your shoulders back down. Try that one more time and push your shoulders down. Good. From here, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, could you drop your left heel while extending your right arm up alongside your ear? Take your right arm to the floor and then bring it all back through center. Same side, 5 times. Drop your left heel and your right arm up alongside your ear. Pull it back through center. There you go. That's 3. Your core is strong, like you're wearing a corset. 4 and 5. Perfect. Bring it back through center. Other side, right away. Extend your left arm up overhead. Tap your right knee or right heel down and come back through center. 5 pulsations. Hi to everyone who's come in slowly. Don't worry, you didn't miss too much. Keep pulsing your body back and forth. 2 more. Core is really strong. And last one. Good. Could you drop your feet to the floor, bend your elbows, and place your elbows on the floor? And now drop the backs of your hands towards the floor. Some backs of hands can reach the floor, some of them can't. Pull your arms back through center. See if you can drop your palms towards the floor. Really subtle shoulder rotation here. So bring your arms all the way back up through center. Backs of your hands touch the floor or come towards it. And then wave your hands forward so the palms try to touch the floor. And just noticing where your body stops and goes here. One more time. Very good. Let's add on. Reach your arms back up, or reach your legs back up. This time, as you extend your left arm back, straighten your right leg and tap your right heel down as your left thumb taps down. Take it back up through center. Then extend the opposite leg. Watch out for any obstacles in your house. And the opposite arm. So now you're moving through this action. And it's important that when the right leg and left arm extends, the right arm stays static up overhead. And then we come, it's like you're passing a baton with the opposite hand. Notice what's happening with your spine. Is your spine imprinting into the floor? Is it neutral or is it really arched? See if you can find a place that feels like neutral. So in between that posterior and anterior tilt. Let's keep pushing through. You might go a little quicker for 10, 9, breathing 8, 7, 6, 5, only 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feels a little bit like when you do that rubbing your belly and rubbing your head or patting your head at the same time. Hug your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side. Good. From here, put your knees back into our starting position. Super familiar place now. Back into your starting position, knees right above your hips. And maybe you open your arms out a bit to this side. Would you glue your legs together? So touch the inner lines of your legs together. And then take your knees all the way over towards the right. Let's open our arms really wide for this, just to a hover. Don't drop them, don't let them touch the floor. Pull your knees back through center and take your knees all the way over to the left, just to a hover. Bring them back. Good. One more time. Take your knees all the way over to the right. You're like teasing out a little spinal twist. I hope you didn't just eat a huge butter chicken on rice for lunch like I did. And bring your knees back through center. Good, hug them in towards your chest and just rock side to side. Now from here, can you place the soles of your feet onto the floor? Soles of the feet onto the floor, palms are alongside your body. Take a breath in, engage your core. Take a breath out, pull your pubic bone up and lift into bridge pose. Good. Just feel the alignment here. Hands are alongside your body. So you're doing Pilates bridge, which is way less fun than yoga bridge, which means we move. Can you drop your hips halfway down and then inhale and lift your hips back up? Drop your hips halfway down, push through your feet, inhale, lift your hips up. Now, as you come down, your muscles have a chance to relax, just halfway. But as you come up, can you squeeze your bum cheeks together and engage your glutes? Good. Keep pulsing up and down, looking right down the ridge of your nose. And I hope that after about 10 more of these little pulsations, you'll really start to feel the muscles in the back of your body. Let's do 5, 4, 3, keep going for 2, on 1, stay at the top, hold it at the top, really engage your glutes, and now just open your knees 2 inches, maybe 1 inch, pull them back in. Open your knees a tiny amount and pull them back in. So keep trying this action while your feet, all 4 corners of your feet are glued tightly to the floor. Your pelvis is lifted. And you feel like maybe you're in the gym doing one of those little adductor machines, right? Where you open and close with an added weight. You'll start to feel this closer to the bottom of your bum. Or 2 more, and 1. Keep your hips held high here. Now, imagine that I were to come and put a heavy weight on your right hip. Can you let your right hip sink down? And then I take that weight off so you bring it back to neutral. Now the heavy weight comes onto your left hip, sink your left hip down. The weight is removed and bring it back up. Maybe you imagine you have a bowl of water on your right hip and we're trying to pour that bowl of water out the right side. Lift it back up. And then let's pour some of that water at the left side and lift it back up. Nice work. Slowly pull your body down. There you go. Hug your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side. Let's try one more thing from here. Full disclosure, this is my least favorite thing to do in this Pilates sequence. Place your feet down. Inhale, lift your hips up. All right, get really steady here. Think about squeezing your glutes. Take your left leg out into full extension. See that left leg goes along the same angle as your right leg. And now drop your bum down a few inches. Push through your right foot and lift your bum back up. Drop it down and lift it back up. There you go. You're doing this for 3. It's hard work, hey? 2. And 1. Drop your left foot down, drop your bum down. You could just flop your knees from side to side. My little son, Archie, most of you know Archie, every time I say, hey, which I often say at the end of sentences, I just said it there, he'll stomp his feet and he yells, hey is for horses, Mom. I don't know if they taught them that at daycare, but it's the cutest and most hilarious little statement ever. Let's try the other side. Lift your pelvis up. Good. Take your right leg into extension and lock it in alignment with that left leg. Lower down on the inhale. Push through your left foot to lift on the exhale. Right. So your bum is lowering. That leg will obviously lower with it. Just 2 more reps here, really isolating that left side. Last one. There it is. Drop your bum down, and you might flop your knees side to side again. Good. Let's roll on over to our right side. Roll on over to your right side. Option 1 is to just extend your right arm completely and lie down on your right arm. And option 2 is to strike a pose and take your head into your right hand. Now stack your knees on top of one another and make sure your heels are in line with your bum here. We'll do really, really basic clamshells to start. So you're just opening and closing your knees. Opening and closing your knees. Meanwhile, your heels are stuck together. Heels are stuck together. And can you imagine that this side of your body, the right side of your body that's probably squishing into the floor, has to lift far enough away from the floor just so that I could slip a sheet of paper underneath. And you'll notice the action that you take might drive more work into your glute, right? So just imagine that I had to slip a little piece of paper under that right side of your body. That means that you're pressing down right under the shoulder joint and into the hip. And there's a little more work in the glute and probably your core too. Good. Take 2 more pulses like this. If your head and neck gets sore, just lie down. And now can you lift your top leg up away from your bottom leg? Internally rotate that top femur bone and tap your knees together. Then externally rotate and tap your heels together. Right? So it's like you're drawing a little curve, a little seashell curve, tapping your knees together and then tapping your heels. And again, imagine that you had to create a little space under your side body. So instead of collapsing through the side, your whole side body is strong and long. And I don't know about you, but I start to feel this one almost instantly. Keep breathing for 5 and 4 or 3. Push through. Even if this one feels a bit intense, you've only got 2 more. And then 1, bring it in. Good. Drop that foot down. You might just rub your bum and hit your bum here if that feels better. Now take your left leg, top leg, into full extension. Again, you can rest on your hand or down on the floor and just lift it up as much as you can and drop it back down. Lift that leg up and drop it down. This is what I imagine ballet class is like. I've never been. Up and down. Good. Last time, try to keep the torso steady. And then lift that leg up so it's just at hip height. Your top leg is lifted up just at hip height. And now drive it forward. You're hovering above the ground until it's aligned with your right leg. Turn your toes to point down, tap the toes on the floor, lift it back up, and bring the leg back to where you started. Let's try that again. Bring your left leg forward so it's on the same line as your right knee. Turn your toes to point down, internally rotating the femur, tap the toes down, lift back up, and return to where you started. That is the work. Keep going and resist the temptation to fly through this. So Pilates was founded by a very quirky man named Joseph Pilates. Many of his teachings have been taken out of the practice because they're quite unsafe, to be honest. But one of his core principles of Pilates was that it has to be conscious movement or intentional movement. And when we do exercise that's unintentional, we're not paying attention to what's happening, we're less likely to build muscular strength and reap the rewards of our practice. Just a little food for thought. Let's do one more like that. And then keep the leg forward. So when you come forward this time, keep it forward. Lift it up just a few inches above the bottom leg and simply pulse. Pulse that leg up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you rest down on your back. Take your left ankle across your right thigh. Find through the needle pose. Maybe your hands come behind your right thigh or in front of the shin. And take 5 breaths here. 5 long, slow breaths. Thank you. Unwrap your legs. However you get there, can you roll onto the other side? So now you're on your left side, lying either flat on your arm or taking yourself into that pose as you set up for your clamshell. So stack your knees on top of one another, feet on top of one another. And like it ain't no thing, just start to open and close those knees. Breathing. And once you kind of settled into the groove here, then you want to think about the rest of the body. Trying to pull up through the left side. So instead of collapsing onto the ground, there's a little bit of containment through your core. Yeah, that's it. Keep going here. 10 more little clamshells just like this. Time will fly by. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, right away, lift up that top leg. So the whole leg is at a hover above your bottom leg. Internally rotate your femur and tap your knees together. Open up, tap your heels. Right? So now it's like you're moving over a rainbow shape here or drawing a rainbow shape. You're connecting the knees and then the heels. Notice if your torso is moving around like it's on a little roller coaster ride, and try to keep your torso steady. As you engage your core, it will pick up that left side of your torso. Breathing into all that delightful sensation that's coming up through the back of your body. Good, keep going. Let's do 5, 4, 3 more. You can push through. 2 more. Nice job. Last one. Good. Right away, can you extend your top leg? Extend your top leg and then lift it up and lower to a hover. Lift it up as high as it will go. Lower to a hover. Check in with your head and neck. You might transition to lying down for this one. 2 more like this. Last one. Good. Pause here with that top leg in a hover, and now bring it forward to align with the bottom leg. Rotate the toes down and tap the floor. Pick it back up and return back to where you started. We have a few repetitions of this movement. Notice where your breathing gets slowed down or stopped. And that might be a cue for you to take exhales out through your mouth, cooling down your body or your system as this really, really specific work gets trickier and trickier. 5 more, please, at your own time. Next time that leg comes forward, hold it up to a hover and let's pulse. Bring your toes in so they're facing your body, facing your kneecap. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax that leg. Turn onto your back and place your ankle, your right ankle that you just worked against your left thigh. Might feel really good to rock a little from one side to the next here. And breathing into that big, big sensation. Good. And before we transition to yoga, we have one final Pilates push. So bring your knees back to that starting place. Actually, you know what? Let's set our feet down on the floor. I'll give you lots of different modifications here. Take your feet onto the floor. And option 1 is just to peel your shoulders up. Peel your shoulders up off the floor. Head and neck come off the floor and extend your arms out in front. Okay, option 2, we're moving towards the 100s. Joseph Pilates became famous for this. Option 2, our knees are lifted. And option 3, your legs are extended. Option 4, they might be extended down here, but I can't do that. Find your place and start to flap your wings. Inhale. Exhale through your mouth. You're inhaling through your nose, flapping your wings, and exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. You're halfway there. Keep going. Breath just like that. Maybe you push your legs into extension for your final time here. Maybe you place your feet down onto the floor. You're choosing a place that feels safe and supported in your body. You're pushing through for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Strong core. 2 and 1. Nice job. Tuck your knees into your chest. Let's just rock from side to side. Catch your breath. That was a super efficient way to build strength in your glutes, in your adductors, in your core. Take your hands behind your thighs. You'll either come up onto all fours or rock and roll 3 times. And on that third rock, cross your right ankle over your left ankle, send your palms down and come onto all fours from there. Right away, start to get really, really moving into cat-cow. So just pulsing your spine up and down. This is just like your pelvic tilts, right? But you're adding the whole body in. And the next time you come back through a neutral spine, pause there. Take your hands 1 footprint further ahead. Push your hips back towards your heels, but instead of going into child's pose, start to circle your hips around, making big, giant circles with your hips 3 times in each direction. Maybe let your head hang or your shoulders move a bit here. That's it. And then come back down to neutral. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Take a breath in, stretch your right arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, drop your bum towards your heels. Scoop your right arm under your left arm. Lower your right ear to the floor. Maybe it's your forehead and walk your left fingers away. 5 breaths here in a twisted child's pose. Push into your left hand, lift those hips up away from your heels, reach your right arm up, big heart opener. Take that right arm forward, palm comes down, and as it meets the floor, left side, reach your left arm up. And sweep your left arm under, take the ear to the floor, maybe it's your forehead instead, and walk your right fingers forward, 5 breaths here. Root through your left palm, lift your hips up, take that left arm up, big, strong stretch. Scoop the left arm forward, place it down onto the floor. And now can you extend your right arm forward and your left leg back. Pull your belly button in so the body stays really steady and strong here. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to keep moving by curling in and extending out through bird dog. You have about 30 seconds to give the body whatever it needs. Sometimes it just needs to balance and be still in yoga. Sometimes you might have the zoomies like Amy's dog does and need to move, right? Give your body what it needs. If you're in mobility work here, can you come into full extension and pause, take a breath in. Exhale, let's release the right hand and the left knee and take the opposite side up. Harness your belly button in towards your spine. You're either hanging out here or pulling in and extending out. Keeping the body strong and long, almost as though you're doing this work in a very narrow corridor. Breathing, pulsing. If you're pulsing, open out into extension, breathe in, pause there, exhale, let's release the hands and the knees to the floor. Spread your fingers wide, puff between your shoulder blades, lift up and back into a delicious downward facing dog. And your head can hang heavy here. Front ribs pull in as your belly pushes back towards your thighs. Draw your kneecaps up towards your hips and anchor your heels down. Look forward between your hands. Inhale, float forward towards the high plank. Pause here and exhale. Inhale, push back up into a downward facing dog. Good. Exhale there. The next breath in takes you forward to a high plank, shoulders above your wrists. Hold here on the exhale. Downward facing dog on your next inhale. Exhale in your downward dog. This time, inhale forward to a high plank. Take your right hand beneath your face and roll over onto the outside edge of your right foot. Stack your legs or place your left foot down on the floor behind you. Stretch your left arm up. If you're feeling really strong and brave, you might take your left leg up. Now, an option is to extend your top arm alongside your top ear, lifting your hip even higher, creating a big lateral stretch, like a crescent moon shape. Take both hands down to the floor, rotate back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale. Inhale forward to your high plank. What we do on one side, we do to the other. Roll your left hand beneath your face and turn over onto the outside edge of your left foot. Maybe your legs are stacked. Perhaps that right knee is bent. Your right arm can be extended up overhead or on your hip. And now keep lifting your right hip high as you have the option to umbrella that top arm over your head. Breathe in and breathe out. Both hands come to the floor, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide and exhale completely. Look forward, slide your right foot between your hands. Scissor your inner thighs together and reach your arms up for your all too familiar lunge shape. In today's lunge, can you rotate towards the right, pull your left bum cheek up, so engage that left bum cheek. And drop your right hand down your back thigh, stretch your left arm up alongside your ear, and sink deeper into your right knee. Inhale here. Good. With your exhale, start to bend into your left elbow. Lean forward and place your left elbow across your right thigh. Push your palms together. Roll your right ribs up and back, and perhaps you lift up. If you're unsteady, drop your left knee down. If you're super steady, open both arms wide. And breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, take both hands down to the floor. Listen carefully. Take your hands to the floor. You're framing your right foot. Lean your weight forward and walk your hands beneath your shoulders. Lift your back leg up, standing split. Maybe you take your right hand onto your right shin. Maybe your left hand comes there too. Breathing for 3, 2. On 1, drop your hands down. Listen carefully. Can you bend into your left knee and start to sit down, tucking your left knee beside on the outside of your right foot? Come to sit down. Your left knee is bent on the outside of your right foot. Take your right hand behind you. Lift your left arm up and rotate towards the right. So you're in that shape that enables a seated spinal twist. Push both sit bones down. Look back behind you. Take a big breath in. Exhale, twist even deeper. Good. And on the inhale, as you come out, lean back, no hands if you can. Unwrap your legs and find Navasana, or boat pose. Reach your arms out. Maybe you extend your legs on any degree of an angle here. Keep your heart and chest lifted and breathe. 5 deep breaths. Lift your heart, a long straight spine. Good. Now try this. Walk your left ankle over your right ankle. Looks like you're going to cross your legs, but instead plant your palms and step back, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Inhale for a traditional vinyasa. Inhale forward to a high plank. Bend into your elbows, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reset with a few breaths here. Start to tilt your head forward, look forward, step your left foot between your hands. Scissor your inner thighs together and pick your arms all the way up for your warrior lunge. Open towards the left, and as you do that, can you engage your right glute? Drop your left hand down your back thigh, reach your right arm up. Nice and slow, bend into your right elbow. Take that big rotation. Maybe you need to drop your back knee. Bring your hands together wherever you are. Turn your gaze up, or even open your arms wide. Keep kicking back through your right heel and bending deeper into your left knee. Squeeze your glutes. That's it. Beautiful, nice and slow. Can you take your hands back down to the floor? Walk them right beneath your shoulders and lift up your right leg. Standing split here. Now you can stay with your hands on the floor like this. Maybe walk just one hand or both hands over towards your standing leg. Keep leaning your belly down towards your left femur bone. Incredible. Walk your fingers back down to the floor. Bend into your right knee now and start to sit down. Take your right knee to the outside of your left foot. As you end up, somehow, you end up in a seated spinal twist. Both sit bones come down to the floor. Walk your left hand behind you. Place your right elbow across your left thigh and start to rotate. Inhale here. Exhale, push your right thigh into the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, push your left foot into the floor. Inhale, come back through center. Try no hands, but if you have to use them, that's okay. Come up to bridge pose, Navasana. Option one, stay here. Okay, stay right there. Hold Navasana. Option two is super, super spicy. You might lower down to a hover, arms and legs extend, and then pick it back up. 5 of those, or you're holding in Navasana. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down, cross your ankles, plant your palms, step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Open your mouth wide and exhale. From here, can you walk your hands all the way back towards your feet? Catch onto your big toes with your peace and love fingers. Inhale, open your chest long. Exhale, hinge forward and let the top of your head relax. You can dump out any thoughts you don't need, any distractions, any frustrations. Imagine them literally falling out of your head. Take a little micro bend in your knees, release your hands from your toes, just climb up your body. Climb up your body, take as much time as you need. Come to standing, and when you get there, place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. And just feel how you're doing. Good. Everything we did today prepped for this shape. So we're coming into Warrior 3. Take your right foot and step your right foot halfway up your yoga mat. Invite a little bend into that knee. Lean forward. Lift your left leg up, up, up. Track your right hip back and collect your hands at your heart center. See if you can get the body in one long line. Now you might take your arms alongside your body. You might even reach them forward. But the work here is coming from the glutes that you did the first 30 minutes of class warming up. So you're breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, go back to where you started, all the way back. Catch yourself, stabilize, one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. So, okay, if you wobbled out into the shape, it's part of the practice. Good. Anchor now the opposite foot, your right foot onto the mat. Take a step halfway up your yoga mat with that left foot. A little bend comes into the knee. Start to hinge forward. Notice already that all your weight wants to go left. You can pull it back forward by engaging through your core. And then start to lift your right leg up. Keep sucking your belly button in, dropping your right hip down, and lifting your right heel up. Find a place for your hands. Hold and breathe. Soften the blow as you come back by bending into your left knee. Take your right foot back behind you. Step back. Catch your breath. Hands on your heart or your belly. Good. Let's walk halfway up our yoga mat. Come to sit down on your bum and suck the soles of your feet together. Take your ankles with your palms. Inhale into a long spine. Exhale, hinge forward. You might even walk your hands forward. Just soften here for 5 breaths. Lazily pick up your head and your chest. Lean your weight over towards the left and take that right leg back, either towards a deer pose, so it's like half pigeon. Your knees are both bent at a 90 shape. Or extend your right leg all the way back and roll into little sleeping pigeon shape. 10 breaths here. Ease up away from the floor. Lean your weight to the left hip. Take your right leg forward. Take your left leg forward too. Flex your feet. Reach both arms up for an inhale. Hug your belly button in towards your back as you fold forward on the exhale. And today, let's keep our spine long. So working on the hamstrings here. Draw your toes in. Lengthen through your spine. And tiny, minuscule movements down towards your thighs. Breathe. Graciously lift back up. Lean your weight over to the right now. Bend into your knees and find that stretch for your psoas and your hip flexors on the other side. Either deer pose or pigeon pose. 10 breaths there. Let's pull our bodies back upright. Take your left leg all the way forward. Place your hands on the floor and come all the way down onto your back. Grab your knees in your hands and either Take those circles with your knees that we took earlier in our practice. Or maybe just give yourself a big hug and flop side to side. Let your knees fall all the way over to the right. Open your arms wide. Turn your eyes and your head towards the left. And just take in all of the sensations, the stretches, the muscular work, even the breath. Come back through center, slip over in the opposite direction. A few moments here. Finally, come back through neutral. Take any final movements, any shapes or adjustments before sliding your body flat into Shavasana, corpse pose. Turn your palms to face up alongside your body. Close your eyes. And for the next few minutes, can you let your whole weight of your body sink into the floor? Let your tongue slip away from the roof of your mouth. Separate the biting surfaces of your teeth. And take rest. I will call you out in just a few minutes. Until then, enjoy. Slowly start to bring little movements into your fingers and your toes. Rock your head left to right. And as you breathe in, stretch your arms all the way up overhead, lengthening fingers to toes. Breathe out, relax, hug your knees into your chest. And take the next few moments to come all the way up to a cross-legged seat with your hands bound at heart center. When they get there, bow your head into your hands. Take a moment to set an intention for your week. Is there something you want to do or achieve, feel, or let go of? Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide. Exhale. Namaste.